Welcome to our Uni-Vibes series.
In this series, we're going to share with you Uni-Vibes from some of our favorite manufacturers.
And maybe we'll figure out, does the drive go before or after a vibe? On today's episode of PJ and the Beard, we're going to take a look at a pedal as part of our Uni-Vibes series. But before we get into that, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel, clicking on the notification bell. Your interaction with us helps us interact with great people, not in the industry necessarily is tonight, but the community.
Oh, yeah.
So today we're going to look at the Jimi Zero by Moen Effects Lab. And the Beard's going to tell you how this magically appeared a decade ago. That's not quite a decade, but
not quite a decade.
Yeah.
So we met Tony DeGraw through the channel. Tony started the Single Path pedal. I'm not sure what the exact name of it is now. The Single Path Facebook group. So cool Facebook group. I think we have a link to it on our website. If you go into Facebook and type the Single Path, you'll find it there too. Tony started that group. When he found our channel, we were in the middle of doing that Leslie Sound series. He loved the series. We got to talk, and I'm like, I think down the road we're going to do a Uni-Vibe series. And I think, if memory serves, he had just bought a Micro-Vibe from Voodoo Lab.
Okay.
Which we shot a video on that tonight too. And he was like, hey, I want to send this to you guys so you have it for your series. So he sent us over this Jimi Zero, very similar, I think just a smaller version of the shaky Jimi from Moen, from all that we can tell. Same kind of thing. And that's the story. And so thanks, Tony. And 3-4 years later, we're finally getting around. We're going to record it. We're going to make it part of the series, and then we'll see what happens to it after that. I have some ideas. So yeah, there you go. The layout's pretty simple. My eyes can't read it, so I'm hoping I get this right.
Rate, depth, bias.
Right.
Chorus, vibrato, push button, and the on and off switch.
So, a couple things about that. Bias is almost like kind of a tone or some kind of low pass filter or something. The chorus and vibrato switch, we can't find any owner manual on this. Do you want to talk about what you discovered?
Well, when we tried to go find it, I saw several comments saying, wow, we really feel like they have that labeled backwards because the vibe sounds like a chorus and the chorus sounds like a vibe because the chorus sounds very absent guitar signal and all effect on the chorus side, which is normally the vibrato. So that's the one thing, and that's part of the reason we wanted to go, well, what exactly does the bias do? And when we started seeing those comments about that push button.
Yeah.
So I can say, I think as we go on this episode, it may validate the people's thoughts of like, that really seems backwards.
Well, I mean, to me, I like the chorus setting on a vibe pedal.
Right.
But on this pedal, I like the vibrato setting.
Right.
And so, I mean, we figured that out before he read that. And then we're like, oh, yeah, maybe. We'll let you be the judge. Maybe down in the comments, what do you think? So let's get into some sounds right away. Every Uni-Vibe series video we've done, we've started with me on this 60th anniversary American Strat playing the same riff. And so we did it once again, and here's that.
Not to be left out, I played the same guitar through the same pedal, through the same amp, the Tyler JT22, and the same delay pedal, the Echo Tour. And this is how I approached it.
So we have 2 more clips to go that are going to get a little more distorted, fuzzy, overdriven, whatever you want to call them. But before we do that, we thought we'd twist some knobs and maybe click back and forth between that vibrato and chorus section just real quick. So right now where I have it set, the depth is up really high, the bias is in the middle, and the rate is totally off. So let's run that rate knob first. I believe it's in the vibrato.
It is, and the two.
And so here we go.
PR Silver Sky S-type guitar. Here we go.
Let's talk about that knob real quick.
Yeah.
When we did the micro vibe, you went from off to noon with a very
Super
subtle increase in speed. So when I did this, I went from off to like a quarter of the way up to like 9 o'clock. Man,
right.
I feel like most of the speed increase is between off and noon in this one.
Mm-hmm.
And then from noon, because I think you might be able to see me say, I was like, where's this going to go once we get to like 1 o'clock?
Right.
Like, where's it going from here? All right. You want to do depth?
Yeah.
So let's get like a reasonable speed. So it's probably not at noon. And I'll just run depth down, I guess.
All right.
So right now we got the bias in the middle. I'm gonna let Pat play something, then roll it all the way off, and then roll it all the way to the top, and let you see the difference between that.
All right.
I flipped it from chorus to vibe or vibe to chorus just to make sure it's like it works on both.
Right.
I think that knob is kind of subtle. Like I don't feel like there's a huge difference from all the way off to all the way on, but I mean there is. There's
Right.
but not as huge as you would. It's not like from really bassy to AM radio.
Yeah, it's very different. You'll see that. I think we may have done some adjustments to it on our next 2 clips when we applied various sundry vibes, drives, fuzz.
Do you want to just play one more pass and have me go between the chorus and the vibe so people can hear that. So we're starting in vibe mode, then we'll go to chorus mode, and then vibe mode, and then chorus mode for you. I don't know, because I feel like when you go to chorus, you hear the clean sound of the guitar. So definitions real quick. On a Uni-Vibe, the chorus is normally like the signals or whatever the chorus is, the signals are modulating, but there is that clean sound in there. When you go to vibrato, all the clean is taken out.
Right.
I don't know if it's labeled backwards or just that the vibrato is not a true vibrato.
Possibly, because I mean, you can definitely hear the warbliness at the end when I hold it, but that's true.
Shane from In the Blues had a review of, I think, this pedal, or maybe he did the Shaky Jimi, and he said in the beginning of the video that vibe did not stand for vibrato. He said, he didn't point that out. He just said vibe is for vibratone, like the old Leslie 16 cabinet we have back here when it got bought out by Fender was the vibratone cabinet. So he said it was emulating that. So maybe they're not even going for that original like vibrato thing. Okay. Whatever it is, I feel like I like the vibe setting on this better. Yeah. So fuzzy things.
Yes.
You want to do yours first?
Yeah. I didn't use this guitar. I didn't use this. I used this beauty right here. This Les Paul Classic, Thornbuckers, rewired by David Barber to make this a magical thing, and I went right for the Angry Orange, and I had it on the muff setting, playing this through the Tyler, through the Echo Tour. That's what I did.
So for my final clip, I stuck with the American Strat I had earlier, and then I grabbed the Exacta Fuzz by David Barber. I probably say this every time we pick up a fuzz pedal that haven't traditionally been a big fuzz guy, but there's a few fuzzes that we have floating around on the channel lately that are really piquing my interest, and this is one of those. So here's the Exacta Fuzz with the American Strat through the Tyler DSL Echo Tour, trying to do the whole thing.
That's right.
Yeah. So there's clips we have for tonight. Final thoughts.
Interesting moment. We don't do a ton of show prep, but we're texting back and forth. What are we going to dive into tonight? Because we've had a little bit of a hiatus here. And you're like, oh, it might be a couple things. So I come down and he's playing something, and it definitely sounded like Uni-Vibe. And I was moving around, and he's like, all right, don't look down on the board, but tell me what you think this is. And I was like, I don't know. It's like some type of Uni-Vibe. And I looked down, I completely had forgotten that we had been sent this some time ago. So that was interesting. And then got into playing it. And once I kind of figured out the relationship to the bias to whatever I had selected, either the chorus or vibrato or what guitar I was playing, I could get a pretty fat sound out of it. And I like the way it pulsed, because again, it's so funny. Leslie, Uni-Vibe, tremolo, chorus. So I think I took that and tried to make it sound like both the things that I like. And I found some stuff in there I liked. It's a really cool pedal, and I appreciate him sending it over. And they're still available. You can actually procure these.
And they're not expensive. I mean, even if you go to Amazon, it's what, $55
$58 or something like that,
yeah. And then so certainly to find a used one somewhere, probably be even cheaper. I've seen comments online where people are like, oh, it's as good as, the full tone Deja Vibe, or it's as good as whatever kind of historically considered very good vibe pedal.
Right.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Right.
But I think for a $58 pedal, it's pretty phenomenal.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's Uni-Vibe is hard. This is probably, don't quote me on this, I'm 98% sure this is not an optical where you have like the flashing light inside and the sensors around it. This is more of like a phaser that's been tweaked to sound more like Uni-Vibe. I think it does a really good job. I wouldn't. There were sounds in there I really liked. I mean, forget the nonsense. Me and my OCD won't let me get over the fact that I want it to be pushed to chorus, and I'm playing it on vibrato. That's my only.
Right.
I want the sound that I like to be the chorus setting, not the vibrato setting.
Right. So you can be consistent.
So yeah. But other than that, I think it's really, really pretty nice. Tony, thanks for sending that over. We appreciate it. Like I said, we'll see what happens to it next. And so,
I just want to comment too that I do like the rate, the light flashes according to the rate. I mean, you can always tune to your ear, but you can also get a visual of where you are. And sometimes we had it way down. You're like, is it on? Like, what is it doing? So I always like when the light will go along with the modulation speed.
Yeah, I think it's nicely done.
Mm-hmm.
Surprise.
Yes.
I think they did a good job. So with that, hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for hitting the subscribe button, notification bell, comments if you do, because every time you interact with the channel, that's what helps us interact with cool people. In this case, it happens to be a cool friend that we made through the channel and through that Signal Path Facebook group. Brain fart. So anyway, with that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.
Thank you.